what prompted you to sign up for the happiness course then?
Well, I think, like I said, I'd gone through a period of grief in my life, and having done the retreat, I just wanted more, and I wanted to understand how to move from sadness to happiness. But what I found was so much more, because I wouldn't call it happiness course. I would call it's more a spiritual, helping you to find yourself within that course, and realizing that happiness is moments in time, and understanding that, I think, because I think we have this thing that we think happiness is all encompassing, a big thing that we have all the time, but realizing that it's intermittent, and it's about the little joys in life and the simple things in life. And I think what I did it for was I needed that. I needed to change my own thinking. I needed to take control of me and to move my life in a different direction. And as I said, I'd wanted to do it previously. And when it came up, to be fair, I wasn't going to do it because it was on Zoom, and I crave connection, human connection. I don't want more, Zoom. I wanted to be in a room with people, because I'd got so much connection on the retreat that I just felt I got so much out of that by being in a room with people. It's just a different energy. You get an energy with that. And then I sat one day and I thought, no, I'm not going to do it. It's Zoom and I don't want to do that. And then I thought, but then you're cutting yourself off from learning. And if that's the only way to learn at this moment in time, then maybe give it a go. And I realised that Zoom is nothing and is easy to do. I'd never used it before. I'd always didn't want to get into it, so I didn't get into it. But I realised it was so simple to do, so yeah, that I did sign up for it and got so much out of it.
Thank you. And when you think about what this course, after taking the course, what has started or what has been initiated, on what was the consequence of you taking the course? Now you have finished the course about a month ago, so you had some time, it's been working in you, it has finished. So how do you feel now about the course and the outcome of it?
Well, I sum it up in 4 selves. So for me, it gave me self-connection, self-compassion, self-discipline, and self-regulation. And by that I mean self-connection. It enabled me to be present with me. So everything you taught us was about being present in the moment. And that were really important for me. I needed to connect, and it followed on really lovely from the retreat, where I'd wanted to start to trust myself, learn from myself, listen to myself. And I think that's what you encourage the whole way through. I'm just reading the notes.
Do you want to move a bit, because I can see that you have light? Yes. So you are more comfortable.
It's the sun's just coming through the window. Can you still see?
Yeah, I can. I'm thinking of your comfort if the sun is not directly in your eye. Are you okay? Yeah.
I'm okay now, yeah. And then self-compassion, like I said, it gave me time to consider my own needs. And I think we forget about self-compassion. We're always judging ourselves, telling ourselves we should be more of this, criticizing ourselves. And I think it helps you to just stop and give yourself a pat on the back and think how many things you are doing in a positive and constructive way. And the thing I liked about the course in relation to that was, when we identified things through conversation, you always helped us to follow up with resources. So I like to read and I like to understand things. So you always offered solutions or documentaries to watch or books to read, and I found that really, really useful. Self-discipline, I think it was about following through and honouring your commitment to the programme, being there every week to take time out for yourself, because sometimes we don't take time out for ourselves. But I think it gave me a discipline of, I've got to think about these things. I've got to stop and think about these things. And then self-regulation, for me, it helped me to go inward, to start thinking about my internal and external self-care and what the differences were. And also about taking responsibility for my own happiness. It's easy to blame life and situations and other people, but I think that course taught me that if I want to make a change, I have to make a change. The other thing I found really useful was you helped us to develop a toolkit of resources. So like I said, we've got books to follow up, we've got mindfulness, recordings. We had an opportunity to try new things on Zoom and meet new people, and to be more open. I think you encouraged us all to be vulnerable in a very constructive and comfortable way. And I think that's one thing I would say about the course was there was no judgment. If we were dealing with something, you helped us to see it in a positive light, when sometimes you can't always see that for yourself. And you always gave us time to be heard and to be seen. And you allowed us to speak our own truth, which for some people I don't think have probably done that, for a long time.
Yeah, for some people ever.
Yeah. And having courage and, confidence to do that obviously came, by being on the course and, meeting the people we met. And I bet you can't see me now, so I'm glowing here in my light.
You are light, Jade. You are becoming light. It's wonderful. You are light, as you know.
Oh,
now.
Absolutely glowing then, weren't I? So
yes.
So I think that might be it for that question.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, like, it's amazing to hear how much you have got from it, and how much, like the materials, the resources, the kind of things that I have shared with you helped. And, it looked like what was good was that, there was whatever we were talking about that you really appreciated, that there were extra materials later to kind of dig into if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And thinking about things you left behind, you stopped doing, you kind of got rid of, healed, whatever you want to call it, was there anything that this course helped you move on from?
I think some of the things you shared with us about New Year and writing a letter to yourself. And so I actually did that. So I did it under two guises, two questions I asked myself. And one of them was, what am I grateful for in 2021? Because even though I'd had a lot of sadness and grief, I didn't want to focus just on that. And I wanted to look for the things that had come to me during that year. So, part of it was, I just was so grateful that I'd survived adversity, grief, and kept going. And so the course was part of that. The other question that I asked myself is, what do I want to bring in for 2022? So what am I calling to myself? And so I just sat one morning and listed 2 pages of things I wanted to call in, and I think it's not so much, I think letting go is probably the hardest thing. And as we've spoken about before, patience and trusting. And I think I began doing those on the course. I think they're not things that happen overnight either. And we just have to keep going and learning and being kind to ourselves as we move along that journey. But I think the burning ceremony and letting go of the things I wrote down, and I couldn't even tell you what was in that now because it's gone, and I don't really recall that, but it was very useful at the time. I did feel very relieved after doing that exercise.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you. It looks like you have also left behind maybe some small thinking, opened yourself up to like bigger ideas, and not limiting yourself with things, but just going for big.
Yeah, I think it's so easy to get into negativity when life's tough. And I think we do limit ourselves, but even though sometimes we don't know how to not do that, just sharing that sometimes can help. And then other people have ideas. And I remember one of the participants, because we have a WhatsApp group, which is really useful. And one day, somebody was having a tough time and called it a test today and a lesson. And that day I was having a tough time, and I thought, well, if that person can look at it that way, then I'll look at it that way. And then it doesn't seem so bad sometimes, does it?
Yeah,
and just sharing. Everybody's got something in their life that they're dealing with. And I think that just helps. But the best day for me on the course was, it was probably unpredictable. It was one of the reflection days when we just told our stories and learned from each other's adversities and difficulties. And I just found that amazing, because it just helps you to know that you're not alone, that we're all dealing with things, and there's light at the end of the tunnel. And sometimes we just need to know that.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing your experiences, and also thank you for opening up, because it was a personal journey, a big deep journey for you, and for you to now meet with me and talk about this, that's I want to honor that, so thank you.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to the next deeper course.
Oh, yes, it's coming.
I do think, like I said before, I think there's 3 courses. There's the pre-course before you go on the happiness, to deal with all the wounded child, all the other things within your life that you might need to deal with. And then there's the happiness, and then there's the depth of that happiness. It just gets deeper and deeper, doesn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah. Thank you. Thank
You're
you
welcome.
so much. And I look forward to working with you sometime in the future on those other adventures that are just being created. And
Watch this space.
yes, I think it's going to be called Inner Light Academy, but it's evolving now, so crystallizing. So I will definitely, as soon as it's ready. Okay, thank you.